If you look at current industry standard, core DBA like the basic stuff, everyone should know. What do you mean everyone should know? Even non-DBA should know. Yeah, if they are using Oracle database, because the power of Oracle database is like, it's like knowing the technology, working with that database is different. The guys, those who are into the development, now started taking Oracle database administration because the performance tuning and the dynamics of the database really helps them in writing a better code. That's point number one. Senior folks also coming for database administration because DBA is the to-go person, isn't it? So let me share my screen here. Why DBA is to-go person? That means you know what to-go person, right? So any problem, any situation that we come across within the industry, generally DBA is the to-go person. That means, is the DBA going to resolve all the problems? Definitely not. If so, they will hire only DBAs, right? Then what is expected from DBA? Now understand the nature of the problem. Either it's troubleshooting or performance tuning. Identifying the root cause is the $1 million thing, or resolving the problem is $1 million thing. Once I can point out what is the cause, what is the reason for the problem, resolving the problem is very easy, right? Yeah, DBA is the person who can point out the area where the respective team can really concentrate on it. Let's say, for example, system is too slow. System is too slow is a generic term, and that is the common word we hear across the IT industry when there is a performance issue. We cannot expect more than that from a user. He can't tell because of your CPUs are cranking or memory is using virtual memory and all that. They are not knowledgeable. They only say their experience. Hey, system is slow. System is slow is a very generic term. So DBA is the person who can really look at the system with various dimensions, with various parameters. He can tell, hey, look at this information. Probably the problem is because of networking. Problem is because of your resources. Problem is because of IO. So like that, even problem is because of the service provider. Basically, this is what we used to see commonly during my stay in corporate world. We used to get the tickets from Australia. Generally, when you get the ticket from Australia saying system is slow, 80% of the time our experience was the service provider. Who is the service provider? The person who really provides the service from Australia to our data center, which is in United States. The response time is little poor. So like that, performance tuning is the biggest thing because it is not a subject. See, many people wonder, performance tuning means every DBA wants to take 2 steps back. Generally, that's what we see on floor. Why? This is not only to do with the technical dimension, it is 100% to do with the practical exposure. And not only practical exposure, you must have a complete understanding about the dynamics of the current environment. Then only you can point out, maybe this is the problem. Even you sit home, you've been within that particular environment for a year or so, you will know what is important, what is not important, what kind of processes are going to give the trouble. And even time frame, I'll tell you, because in my ex-company, anytime we hear there is a performance issue during the beginning of the month, that is because there is a program that which we run called rule import program that runs in high parallel processing that sucks up all the resources. It is expected, that is accepted too by the management. If we get the problem like early in the morning on the Monday, before I start to office, phone is going on, people are saying, system is slow. Yeah, guys, check the statistics are up and running. That is, basically you are acquainted with the environment. So environment will change. So DBA is a person who is having the knowledge on each and every vertical. What do we mean each and every vertical? So you'll have some idea on the storage, right? Oh, DBA will have some idea on storage, of course, because from 11G onwards, the phenomenal product ASM. ASM is a wonderful product with respect to storage technology is concerned, which is the replacement of your volume managers, right? Prior to 10G, we used to depend a lot on third-party volume managers to manage these thousands of disks which are ported onto SAN environment. And ASM supports SPAM, right? Scalability, availability, manageability, and performance. And it even supports RAID, right? So 100% fully tuned product ASM like Armen. Each product that is from Oracle is proven beyond doubt. That is one more great secret behind Oracle to be very successful. Armen released 8 days, version 8 days. Even now we are using the same technology with, of course, a few enhancements here and there. It's a proven technology for backup recovery. Now, because of the storage technology, because the reason I started with storage is going to play a major role in our session, which is our RAC DBA session, right? Storage plays a major role for setting up the rack and then even tuning, maintaining, going forward. ASM is one major product that we are going to learn in detail to support our rack environment. So DBA is going to get acquainted with the knowledge of the storage technologies also. And coming to the application dimension, see, of course, with respect to applications, DBA may not really write the code and all that, but he knows the dynamics of it. What do you mean dynamics of it? Like you are not committing for a long time versus you are committing the transaction so frequently, both are not good. It sounds very simple statement. This even decides how your environment is going to be. How you can improve the soft parsing versus hard parsing. So that's the reason DBA is the to-go person. Everyone looks at DBA when there is a trouble. Man, what do you think? Can you throw some light on it? Coming to networks and all that, it's like one more, tip of the iceberg. Well, all we know is with respect to network, we just set up our listener and TNS names. That is the basic stuff. After having the basic infrastructure in place by the network support team, once after basic network is done, there is so much that we do, because there is so much networking we talk about in real application clusters too. What is that? You have private IPs, public IPs, virtual IPs, scan IPs. There are too many IPs basically. So one way or other way, DBA is going to equipped with a lot of information on each and every vertical, that which is driving the information technology as such. That's the reason everyone really looks at DBA. Even though network people, hey, what do you think? And I have many examples to quote on the networking side. One real-time example I will quote so that it will be useful for you guys too. In one situation, this is an Oracle applications 11.5.10.2, early 2000. Intermittently, people are having trouble in connecting to the environment. And again, when we talk about the troubleshooting and performance tuning areas, it is very tricky. In fact, I would think personally it is like intuition, that which cannot be learned. You have it or you don't have it. It is like a doctor, right? Many people go through that, like cardiologist. But in India especially, Somaraj outstands. It's intuition. It's not the time frame. That's the reason we don't really count how long you've been in the industry also. Yeah, I'm there in the industry for 10 years. Yeah, that's wonderful, but what have you done so far? What kind of challenges? This is how the interview pattern also going to be, right? When you try to give an interview, I never really looked at the entire resume. Just just by looking at number of years experience, yeah, tell me a couple of situations what that you have come across with. That really speaks ton. So intermittently, see, the problems are two types in any production environment. Problem that which you can replicate by following certain sequence. That's easy to troubleshoot, right? There are certain problems which are intermittent, means comes and goes, don't know when it comes, and it's very hard to pinpoint that. Since it is hard to pinpoint that, it is very difficult to understand the nature of the problem. Since it is difficult to understand the nature of the problem, it is difficult to understand the root cause and difficult to troubleshoot also. So now then what happens? Hey, the problem is with network, DBA says, for example. No, man, network is fine. If network is the problem, how come they are able to connect once in a while? That is their point. Then they say maybe the database is the problem, or maybe the resources are not enough. No, man, we see resources are enough because we have the report. Then maybe the database is the problem. No, database is not the problem because people are able to correct once in a while the same statement, he is going to use it. Then that's not going to end it. Believe me, the problem was finally, long story to make it short, finally they said after 4 or 5 days, because that was big time trouble. Production, people are able to connect once and people are able to connect other time is very big time problem. It has been escalated. And finally, guess what? The problem is network folks come back and said that, yeah, Prasad, it was the problem with the network. Then what happened? IP tables of some routers got corrupted. Oh, wonderful. We fixed that. That means what? Connections going through certain routers which are good, they are able to make the connections. Connections going through certain certain routers, IP tables which are got corrupted, they are unable to connect. So that's the nature of the performance, or troubleshooting part. So whereas DBA is really well equipped with all this information, that helps the industry as well as to an individual. Makes sense, right? So storage you get acquainted with, applications you get acquainted with, and networking dynamics you can understand. And what else we have? Operating system, right? Operating system, of course, DBA is going to study a bit about the operating system because he need to understand the files and the configuration files with respect to operating system, the files Oracle that is going to create to support the product on the operating system itself. And even I'm surprised, recently a few of our guys went to interviews, they're saying the questions that they have asked, they've been asked is like, what is VoraTab? Simple questions. Yeah, question is simple, but that simple thing should be known to each and every individual DBA. If you don't know VoraTab, if you don't know Vora NST LOC, so what kind of support that we can expect for an individual? Because we know that from on a server, let's say simple things actually. We have a server. On a server, can I install multiple Oracle homes? Of course. I can install 11G, I can install 10G, I can install 12C. Yeah, when I install 3 different Oracle homes, each home will have inventory, right? What is inventory first of all? Many people will have this question. Inventory is a very important thing for Oracle home. See, each Oracle home will have its own inventory. Inventory is the one going to have all the details of the changes that is being done to that particular Oracle home. Inventory must be intact. That's the reason backup recoveries we talk in a great detail, because patching and one more other important activity for DBA, patching also very important. When you patch, inventory must be intact. If inventory got corrupted some reason, you can't apply patch. Of course, that's the reason inventory also part of the backup itself. Where is the inventory? Vora NST LOC. Why it is so important? Knowing that because when you have installed 3, one file is going to have all the 3 Oracle homes inventory path. In real time, we try to comment the other 2 while we are applying patches to a particular Oracle home itself. So these all are 100% to do with the practicality. Now that's the reason always I say this, your learning or being in corporate world is to do with the 2-dimensional. Dimension 1 is technical dimension, technical aspect of it. The other dimension is practical aspect of it, all best practices or corporate standard, whatever you call it. Technical dimension is the dimension which is going to tell you what are all that available from Oracle with respect to core DBA, with respect to RAC DBA, with respect to apps DBA. What is available, what can we do, how that particular technology can be implemented, what is the process that we need to follow, what kind of precautions that we need to really take, how one can implement that particular technology in a corporate world given the situation, depends upon the load balancing or the load that we can expect from the system and the implementation of that particular product, who are going to use that product, how does that matter? Of course, when you log into Oracle applications within the corporate, the responsibilities that you're going to see that is completely different than when a person can is logging into the system outside the world, because there is something called DMZ. These are the common setups in the information technology right now. When you start growing in the industry, of course the pinnacle right now, the networking, is the DMZs. DMZs, without DMZ no corporate will work, which provides the phenomenal security for your applications, for your database, for your environment as such. So this is all you're going to learn one way or other way, because situation demands, right? When you start supporting these applications, can I ask you guys, if you don't mind, can you go on mute please? If you are not, if you have any question, you can just unmute, and because I hear a lot of background noise, I would really appreciate that. Thank you. So that won't deviate my concentration. Okay, right. So that way, we are all the time we are talking about to understand why DBA is to-go person. Now I hope it gives some idea the expectation from the DBA. So how this is going to help us? Without knowing what is been expected, preparation cannot happen properly. Without proper preparation, there is no way to be successful. So the key factor, whatever vertical that we belongs to, understanding the demand. Now we realize that there is great demand for real application clusters. Yes, we are interested in. Yeah, that is very small portion of it. In reality, what is really expected from the corporates, from these RAC DBAs or apps DBAs or core DBAs, is very, very important, so that this understanding will give you the enormous boost or prepare an individual to really tune himself to learn in a proper methodology, so that the 100% concentration is possible. When you know the importance of it, definitely the attention is going to be immense. So since we understand that our learning or practical approach is to do with two-dimensional, I would say 30% is given to the technical dimension, 70% is given to the best practices. That's the reason most of the time we'll be discussing, yeah, we understand this technology, how do we implement, what is that we need to know, whatever we're going to discuss, is that enough? So all kinds of things that we're going to discuss during our training session itself. Now let us talk about let's go through quickly what is that what is expected from this session, how we're going to cover. Now, so we're going to run about this 5 weeks, and again, if we need to take one more session extra, definitely. The reason I'm saying that word, we are not in hurry completing the course. At the same time, we are not going to deviate from the schedule. Most of the time, this is what my experience is, because I have been sent for many trainings during my corporate stay. Thanks to all my companies, they have supported, have taken world-class training on Microsoft, because I worked on various databases. I've taken many trainings in United States, and I've taken trainings from India also, from Oracle Corporation, thanks to Wipro. They have sent me for many trainings because I've been a senior person. So any new technology that they release, they say, Prasad, would you like to go? Yeah, fine. I love technology. I want to be part of it. But one common thing I have seen across the globe with respect to training concern, I feel like somehow it has been rushed during the training period, which I can't really, I don't really vote for that. Because during learning time, we should go in a decent pace, right? So understanding is very important. Completing course is no big deal. Anyhow, once we start, it is going to complete, no matter what. But that's not we want it to happen. No matter what, yeah, it matters a lot. So understanding is very, very important. Especially talking about real application clusters, I would say 80% is the practical, because there is a lot of practical stuff that we need to do. It's all to do with practical after understanding the concepts. Of course, concepts also very important. Without concepts, practical is like, no good. You follow the document, it will work. There is no doubt, because that has been tested thousands of times by Oracle Corporation. That's the reason they have certified, they have released the document also. That which you need to follow to implement any product. That is going to work. There is no doubt about it. But why are we doing that step? And what is that we need to understand in order to execute that step? Will give you the great information that which is definitely helpful in troubleshooting. See, always our idea is on troubleshoot. How can we troubleshoot? Got it? So that's how we're going to do. So now this is for about 5 weeks. First week, like today and tomorrow, before we can get our hands dirty, our hands on to the system, we need to understand what is what first of all. So that's what we're going to do. The first week is completely understanding, hey, the basic, see, one of my ex-boss used to tell, hey Prasad, you know what? God lives in basics. Basics are the great foundation. One who is really great at basics, the rest of the floors are very easy. Foundation must be really good. So we're going to understand why this RAC is required, what kind of support it is providing. See, we all know that it is supporting multiple instances. Why not in the core? See, general statements are good. Without having proper basics, general statements cannot stand for a long time, because if we put couple of two in-depth questions, it falls apart. We don't want to happen to that for us. So we try to build very strong base as much as we can. So that stays a really, really long time. Not only that, it even helps us in understanding the great technologies right now, like Golden Gate and stuff like that. Nothing new actually. If you really, and this is one more common question everyone will have, and very few people will ask. Everyone wants to become a great technical person, isn't it? Tell me who don't want to become a great technical person? Who don't want to get praised on the floor when you resolve certain problem? Everyone deserves, and everyone really feels that way, but very few people can get there. What is the secret behind that? We don't want to know. We wanted to know what is the reason one person can be really a great technical person. Why not others follow him? Question falls back. Who can become a great DBA? Based on my personal experience, the person who is having the basic common sense will become the great DBA. In a way, great technical person as such. See, the entire technology is 100% to do with the utter common sense. Golden Gate we are talking about right now. Why so much? There is huge demand in the market right now for Golden Gate. Why? What Golden Gate is providing? A replication tool. Yeah, we don't have replication prior to Golden Gate. Yes, we do have. How do we do replication? Right from materialized views, we can implement replication. And even one other thing, many people, working folks, whenever they want to change their job, whenever they want to take the interviews, these are the questions being asked actually. That's how I know. Even now, that's good. Many people ask me this, like, when I talk about the replication and all that. Generally asked question is, hey, what is the difference between refresh and cloning? Sounds like we know it, but when we try to keep in words, we kind of bit struggle. That is because lack of clarity. Clarity is only possible when people are really good at the basics. So why Golden Gate is so much powerful, and the industry is really after Golden Gate, because though the replication technology is available from Oracle much before, the power of Golden Gate is it even supports the heterogeneous. It was not the case before. With Oracle replication technologies, it's not possible. Yeah, now Golden Gate is from Oracle itself. Now we can say yes, it is possible, because Golden Gate Corporation is being purchased by Oracle. Now it's the Oracle product. Even other competitors like SQL Server, DB2, all other people also started using the Golden Gate itself as the solution for replication. Replication is having a huge demand in the market, because look at the infrastructure of in IT. We will not have one database, right? Major corporates like General Motors, the companies which have worked for Sony, they have few hundreds of databases. You name it, they have the database type also. So SQL Server, yes we have. DB2 we have. Oracle Core, yes we have. Oracle Apps we have. Oracle RAC we have. And what is happening for corporate? Data is data. Because of the implementation, we end up having multiple databases. But end of the day, data belongs to corporate. In order to have the analysis and all that, all this data must be consolidated to one location. What kind of tool that we can use? Go with Golden Gate. Wonderful. Not only it replicates, it even manipulates the data itself. That's the power. Like every technology what they have released, even clusters, unbelievable technology. Because ever since 10G, Oracle has their own product itself, clusterware, which we're going to talk about in a great deal going forward. Now 11G, beyond doubt, it is proven beyond any doubt. Even Golden Gate, even DataGuard. DataGuard is really famous from 11G. Why? Just because of active DataGuard. Unbelievable, because prior to 11G, the DR site or wherever you have implemented standby database, it is not really much useful. It is really useful when the production goes down. Production going down is not a regular phenomena, right? Production going down is, production should not go down in a way. Like DBA should not have any work, he should not sweat. He should be in office, he should be enjoying his life, maybe in a cafeteria somewhere, because DBA is so busy, his sweating is not a good news. There is some problem, right? Everyone feels like DBA should be. What kind of job, man? And wonderful. So, the technologies that is being supported by Oracle is having phenomenal power and proven beyond doubt. Just because of the active data guard, you can able to utilize all the investment that you have done for setting up your DR site. Which way? All the reports are now moving to the standby database because it is open read only. What is the benefit of that? Yeah, without doing anything, just by setting up data guard, active data guard, you can improve the production performance at least by 60%. Can you imagine? 10% improvement performance on production is like, very difficult. 50 to 60% of performance improvement. How come you shifting the reports from production to standby is improving performance? Think about this. Most of the performance issues are because of IO. Most of these environments are OLTP. And online transaction processing is not going to consume that many resources. Then who is consuming? You are reporting itself. Why? Because it is retrieving a lot of information, lot of IO is going on that you have avoided from the production itself. That itself is giving phenomenal maneuverability. Like, there is a lot of resources can get cleared off just by moving your all reports to standby itself. Now companies are having no second thought in going with standby. So this is what expected from senior DBAs in any industry, right? So no one is expecting senior DBA to create table space. Create table space, even 1 month fresher can do that. When we grow in the industry, definitely after 5 years, 8 years being in the industry, definitely corporates are expecting DBAs to provide the solutions. That's why we call these people are architects. Designations doesn't matter. Role matters, what we try to do it, right? So having said that, giving some kind of brief idea on the technology as well as the industry, what is expected. Now we know, yes, we wanted to know it in detail. Why is always very important. That gives you the complete information of the technology, and that gives you the great idea on what to expect and how to implement. So this week we're going to talk about the difference between the core database and the RAC database, and what kind of storage options that we're going to use. All right, what kind of storage options that we're going to use, irrespective whether it is a core or RAC. And I'll tell you one thing: if anyone asks you, man, you've been in the industry for a long time, you must have seen various situations, implementation, support, or whatever. What is the purpose of all these technologies? Is this a single purpose or multiple purposes? Only one purpose. Oh, sounds interesting. Man, you are talking about only one purpose? Your data guard, ASM, real application clusters, Golden Gate, this many technologies supporting only one purpose. What is it? Tell me anything else. It's only 100% to support availability only. Oh, is it only availability? Then what about the performance? Is performance apart from availability? System is up and running but no response. Is it available or not available? It's not available. Performance is not apart from availability. It's included with availability. There is nothing apart from availability. The only purpose, the entire technology that is being supported with the different technologies is only to support the availability. Nothing else. Nothing less, nothing more. Then we're going to understand what do we mean by availability, how many types of availability that we can expect. And in achieving the availability, of course, there are many technologies supported. Yes, as I said, we're going to see what is the difference between RAC and non-RAC, and detail the storage options and file systems, raw partitions, and ASM. I'll tell you, man, this is the backbone. Very powerful. And of course, one important component, one important technology that we need, especially from 10G, is ASM. Storage means ASM. Okay, since that is so important, we wanted to understand what is ASM architecture and the benefits of ASM. Of course, what is cluster first of all? What is clusterware? And the software requirements, and how are we going to implement? So that's the today's agenda. Of course, we are almost done 1 hour now. Introduction itself. No problem. As I said, we are not really rushing through. The important is, we wanted to understand in detail. Coming to the, tomorrow's session, we'll be understanding the grid infrastructure. What kind of software we need to implement is a great technology. Yes, grid infrastructure is the software that we needed, and what all we going to get it, and the startup sequence of the processes, and we're going to dig through all the details about the infrastructure and how these all are laid out, the architecture of it, startup sequence, shutdown, and how many stacks we have in that. And the most important thing is the voting disk. Voting disk is a very powerful file in order to support the high availability within real application clusters. And new things like grid plug and play, which is new to 11G, we're going to discuss tomorrow what is what. And CRS and OCR and node eviction, right? This is one more important thing. Many people face this interview question. Hey, can you give me the situation why node will get evicted? Yeah. What is interconnect? Remember, I said private network and all that. So of course, apart from your storage, the other technologies that we need to get familiar with is the networking, because there is too much networking going here in the RAC. And the topology, that which it is going to support in real application clusters. How do you set up your NIC cards? What kind of availability we have? Even we have the availability features implemented at NIC card. There is no granular level than that, because your entire networking world is going to start beginning with the NIC card. No NIC card, no networking. Beyond that, before that, is there anything? Nothing. You have your box. So we're going to talk about the availability at the NIC card level, active, passive, from there to your switches, from there to your routers, from there to your DNS, from there to your DHCP. Everywhere availability is possible. Absolutely. Now that's the agenda for first week, and going forward, now concepts 2 days, then we wanted to have our hands on, then we'll start the practicals. All our practices are going to be on the virtualization, as we were discussing in the beginning of session. Virtualization is one more great future provided and supported by Oracle, and many corporates are after virtualization because they can cut down the cost like anything. Once you purchase one powerful server, you can port as many servers as you want. So very flexible. So thanks to Oracle providing the prior to that, because when I started my rack and all that, during I'm giving the proof of concept during the corporates, I used to take my hardware because I purchased one shared disk and all that, and I used to give the demo of it. It was a bit painful, too many wires going here and there. Because of virtualization, having one good machine, you can do what all you wanted to know, what all you wanted to practice before you can really start doing in the corporate world. So that's all the setups we're going to discuss, and then we're going to continue on the practice itself. So first day, second week, first day, we're going to set up all the hardware and all the servers on the operating system, all getting configured. Then that next day, we're going to install the required software to implement the real application clusters, that which is grid infrastructure software. And installing the grid infrastructure software itself is the 50% of it. Why? Because many people will go wrong here, and something goes wrong, and reverting back is not that easy. So what to verify to make sure the installation is going to go through, all that we're going to see on the session 4. That's the second week. So with second week, we'll have our grid infrastructure software up and running. Then third week again, concepts. Like first concepts, practice, concepts, practice. Then third week we'll be concentrating the backbone architecture of real application clusters is the Cache Fusion. Wonderful product. Technology, that which is implemented in real application clusters to ensure the consistency of the data. What is the purpose of Cache Fusion? The consistency of the data within the cluster is being maintained by the Cache Fusion itself. Yeah, in doing that, what kind of contentions it is going to go through? Read, write contention. The way we have the contentions at the core side, the same level of contention is available at RAC. Then how are they going to cover that? By using the technology called Cache Fusion, and all the concepts we're going to discuss during that. And the processes that which are supporting this, we're going to discuss. And then global resource directory, which is the new for real application clusters, not new in 11G. This is there beginning itself, 10G days itself, and even 9i also we have global resource directory concept. 100% belongs to real application clusters itself. And there are other images like we know current image, before image. There is something called past image, which is again unique to real application clusters environment. And we're going to discuss about that. And one other important new technology that is being implemented is the scan. Scan listener, scan IP, scan name, and the architecture. This is again new to 11G. People might wonder, already we have too many IPs, man. We have private IP, we have public IP and all that. Again, they have introduced something called scan IP. What is the purpose of it? Yes, we'll go to see that. And most of the questions during RAC interviews are all this. What do you know about the Cache Fusion? Why do you think they have started supporting the scan listener and all that? So all that we're going to cover. And of course, we have done installation with the grid and all that. Then we're going to look at Oracle software. Of course, that is the purpose of our real application clusters. So we're going to install Oracle software, and then we're going to identify the log files to troubleshoot the environment, any problems that we have and all that. Then session 6 of third week, we're going to understand more and more about the ASM itself. How do you add the space to ASM? How do you create the disk groups? You can create these groups two ways, right? ASMC and command line, both you can use it. So we're going to cover more and more on the ASM, because ASM plays major role, which is 100% supported by Oracle, and 90% of the implementations on ASM these days, real application cluster, because it's Oracle proprietary, free of cost, and unbelievable product. It's not the cost. Corporates are ready to spend money, but they need proven technology. Week 4, we're going to understand the RAC specific parameters. Some are identical, some are unique. So how are you going to do the things that we used to do in core side, like enabling RK log mode? What kind of logs? How do you do the log switches? Because in core side you have only one method of log switch, because you have only one instance. We have more than one instance here. So definitely you can do the manual switch of the local instance globally itself. How do you terminate sessions? How do you administer clusterware using the various commands like CRSCTL and services like SRVCTL? And what about the backups of the important files of your clusterware? And the purpose of OLR, and all these are going to go through the concepts itself. How do you enable services at the clusterware level? And one other important thing on session 8, week 4. This is a common requirement. Corporates must be working on the core database side. Now they have decided to mount to the RAC. There are many databases that needs to be converted from core to RAC. So we're going to see practically how are we going to convert the databases which are on the core side to real application clusters environment. So that's the practice on the session 8. And week 5 we're going to see, hey, if I wanted to pump up the power of my cluster, how am I going to do it? Adding nodes, more and more nodes to cluster. So that's how, that's session 9. How to add. They made it very easy. So this is the future supported by your grid plug and play. So once you follow all the configuration as per Oracle documentation, you adding a node to the cluster is like piece of cake. Then of course the very purpose of the entire course is TAF, transparent application failover, because the failover is transparent to whom? User. So this is possible using the services. So we're going to see on the last day how we need to create the services, what we need to know, this how services to be created, how you can use those services in connecting to database in order to have the load balancing and the failover, two things. And of course, last but not least, how do you backup? How do you backup RMN? Or is it different from core to RAC? Yes. How is that different? Because there you have one server, you have here more than one server. How do you take advantage of the power that of multiple servers? So that's how the course is scheduled. That's how we're going to go through. So at this point, if you guys having any questions or anything, I would like to take it. Any questions so far on whatever we have discussed?